When I was a young boy in the Bahamas, I would sit on the porch and watch the other children run by. Some taller, some stronger, some louder, some smarter. And I remember thinking to myself, maybe if I could be more like them, maybe then I'd be special. I didn't know it then, but that was the beginning of something dangerous. Something that doesn't shout, doesn't scream, doesn't crash through the front door of your life, but instead slips in like a whisper in the night. Quiet, subtle, deadly. It's called comparison. Comparison is not just a feeling, it's a silent thief. And what does it steal? Your peace, your joy, your confidence, your creativity. But above all, it steals your identity. Slowly, relentlessly, like a termite inside the wood of your soul, eating away at the structure until what once stood strong and distinct begins to collapse under the pressure of trying to be something it was never built to be. Let me tell you something. Comparison is the enemy of authenticity. And authenticity is the foundation of purpose. The moment you start comparing yourself to others is the moment you start editing the masterpiece God already called very good. It's the moment you stop asking, who am I? And start asking, how can I be more like them? You see, the devil doesn't need to destroy you to defeat you. He just needs to distract you. And nothing distracts quite like comparison. Because comparison will make you look away from what's in your hands and focus on what's in someone else's. You'll despise your seed because it's not their tree. You'll ignore your progress because it doesn't look like their finish line. You'll belittle your gift because it doesn't fit in the box of their applause. But let me tell you what I've learned. God never designed you to be He wired you as an original. He encoded you with divine DNA that cannot be duplicated. So when you compare, you commit identity theft on yourself. You trade the treasure of your uniqueness for the illusion of their approval. That's why some people are exhausted, not because they're working too hard, but because they're working too hard to be someone they were never called to be. That's why some people are stuck, not because they have no potential, but because they're too busy chasing someone else's destiny. Comparison has convinced too many people to hide their light, to cover their dreams, to mimic instead of manifest. And it's so subtle. It dresses itself in ambition, but it smells like insecurity. It sounds like motivation, but it speaks with the voice of doubt. It creeps into your mind with a single question: why don't you have what they have? But here's the truth. If God wanted you to have their life, He would have given it to you. He didn't. And that's not a curse. That's a calling. So I ask you, what has comparison stolen from you? Your peace, your confidence, your clarity? It's time to reclaim it. Because the more you compare, the less you live. The more you imitate, the less you impact. You cannot fulfill purpose while envying someone else's assignment. There is something deeply profound that many people miss, and it has cost them years of their lives chasing the wrong version of success. Listen to me closely. God does not mass produce anything. You are not a copy of an assembly line. You are a divine design crafted with intentionality, precision, and purpose. You are a blueprint, not a clone. A blueprint is a one-of-a-kind master plan. That means there is no one like you, there has never been anyone like you, and there never will be. When the Creator formed you, He did not consult a catalog. He didn't look at your neighbor, your sibling, or your favorite influencer before shaping your identity. He started with purpose and built your form to match it. Every detail of your personality, every quirk, every trait, every passion. It's all intentional. Nothing about you is random. I've often said that the greatest tragedy in life is not death, but life lived without purpose. And do you know why many people die full instead of empty? Full of books unwritten, songs unsung, businesses unstarted, sermons unspoken, because they spent their whole lives trying to be someone else instead of becoming who they were meant to be. That's the devastation of ignoring your original blueprint. Imagine this. An architect designs a skyscraper. The blueprint contains every measurement, every wire, every beam in place. But when the builders go to work, they throw away the plan and decide to copy the house next door. Do you know what happens? That skyscraper is never built. Not because the plan wasn't good, but because it was ignored. That's what happens when you compare, you abandon your divine instructions to mimic someone else's story. And the world suffers for it. Because there are problems in the earth that only your life can solve. There are people assigned to your voice, not theirs. There are doors that will only open to your key. That means when you reject your uniqueness, you delay the solution you were born to bring. There is no greater insult to a creator than to question the way he created you. And yet, every time you say, I wish I looked like him, I wish I had her life, I wish my story was different, you are telling God that his design wasn't good enough. But let me tell you something. You were fearfully and wonderfully made. That is not poetry. That is divine reality. Fearfully means reverently, intentionally, masterfully. Wonderfully means beyond explanation. That means even your scars have purpose. Even your flaws serve a function. Even your pain has been woven into the tapestry of who you are becoming. You were not born to blend in. You were born to stand out, to rise up, and to reveal a version of God's creativity the world has never seen before. You are not a mistake. You are not an accident. You are not an afterthought. You are an idea God couldn't get out of his mind. So you have to rediscover what the world tried to bury. You have to go back to the blueprint. Strip away the layers of performance, the expectations of culture, the lies you've believed, and look again at who God originally designed. You'll find that you don't need to chase significance. You already are significant. You don't need to search for value. You were born with it. You are the evidence of a divine imagination. Rediscover your uniqueness and you will rediscover your power. Because God doesn't bless imitation, he blesses authenticity. And when you walk in your original design, you become unstoppable. We are living in a generation that is being raised by reflections. Not true reflections, but distorted ones. We have come into a world where identity is no longer formed by truth, but by mirrors that lie. And one of the most dangerous mirrors we've accepted is the mirror of society, what I call a broken ruler. You see, people used to look to their creator to discover who they were. Now they look to culture, trends, and strangers on a screen. We scroll for significance. We chase applause over assignment. And we're using the opinions of people who don't even know us to determine how we feel about ourselves. But hear me, you will never discover your worth by staring into the wrong mirror. When you stand in front of a cracked mirror, what do you see? A distorted version of yourself. And yet many of us are trying to build our self-esteem, our confidence, and our decisions based on reflections. Social media has turned into a measuring stick for success, beauty, influence, even spirituality. But let me tell you the truth. Likes do not equal love. Followers do not equal favor. And comments do not equal calling. You cannot measure your eternal worth by temporary metrics. That is like trying to measure the depth of the ocean with a teaspoon. Comparison through these mirrors causes people to perform rather than live, to pose rather than produce, to pretend rather than be present. And the problem is when you live for likes, you'll die by their absence. You'll become addicted to affirmation, dependent on approval, and always insecure because the applause of the crowd is fickle. They'll cheer for you today and forget you tomorrow. We are now seeing a generation burned out, not from purpose, but from performance. They are exhausted trying to keep up with an image they created just to be accepted by people who are also pretending. It's a cycle of empty people impressing other empty people, while the original call of God sits buried under filters and fake smiles. You were never created to reflect society. You were created to reflect glory. And when you allow yourself to be defined by people who did not design you, you will always live beneath your calling. That's why it's dangerous to let social mirrors tell you who you are. Because mirrors don't speak truth, they only reflect what's put in front of them. And if all you ever put in front of them is comparison, insecurity, and fear, that's exactly what you'll see. I need you to understand something. Just because someone else is winning doesn't mean you're losing. Just because someone else's light is shining doesn't mean yours has gone out. The sky does not compete with the moon, and the stars don't try to outshine each other. They simply be. The tree doesn't envy the flower. The lion doesn't compare itself to the eagle. Why? Because everything in creation knows it was designed to be unique. Only humanity struggles with identity confusion because only humanity was given the power of choice. You can choose to live free from comparison. You can choose to turn away from broken rulers. You can choose to look into the mirror of the Word of God and see yourself the way He sees you. Chosen, beloved, equipped, and purposed. You don't need their metrics. You don't need their mirror. All you need is the mirror of truth. The one that reflects who you were before the world told you who to be. The greatest freedom you'll ever experience is the day you stop trying to measure up to a standard God never gave you. There is a lie that has quietly infiltrated the hearts of many people, and it is this: that your value is found in your performance. That your worth is determined by how much you achieve, how busy you stay, or how impressive you appear to others. But let me tell you something, with all the authority God has given me, your value is not in your performance. Your value is in your purpose. The enemy of your soul would love nothing more than to keep you caught in the trap of doing instead of becoming. Busy but not fulfilled. Active but not aligned. Productive but not purposeful. We have mistaken movement for progress and applause for confirmation. And yet, you can be celebrated by the world and still be completely out of sync with your assignment. You were not created to perform, you were created to produce what God placed inside you. And what He placed in you is not generic. It is not second-hand. It is not leftover. It is divine. Before you were ever born, God said, I formed you. And your job is not to perform for it, but to release it. There is a seed of greatness in you. And seeds don't compete. They grow. They don't strive. They unfold in their season. But comparison makes you impatient with your process. It will make you dig up your own seed just because someone else's tree is already bearing fruit. But your seed is not late. It's assigned to a specific time, a specific place, and a specific impact that only you can make. You must stop living for the stage and start living for the assignment. Because God doesn't reward performance. He rewards obedience. The parable of the talents didn't praise the one who tried to do the most, but the one who multiplied what he was given. Not what someone else had, not what looked flashy, but what was given to him. And here's the tragedy. Many people are performing so well at being someone else that they have forgotten who they really are. They're wearing costumes of false confidence, pretending to be fulfilled, all while hiding their true potential under layers of comparison, fear, and pressure. But let me remind you, God is not interested in your act. He's not impressed by your highlight reel. He's not fooled by your performance. He is after what he placed in you. That idea, that gift, that anointing, that unique sound, that dream that keeps you up at night, that is the real you. And it was never meant to be judged by human standards or worldly metrics. It was meant to transform the world in a way no one else can. You don't need to outperform anybody. You just need to outgrow who you were yesterday. You don't need to be the best. You just need to be true to what was planted in you. Because when you focus on performance, you look outward for validation. But when you focus on purpose, you look outward for validation. But when you focus on purpose, you look inward for vision. God did not give you someone else's grace. He gave you your portion. And with that portion comes responsibility. You are not responsible for someone else's harvest, but you are responsible for cultivating your own. Don't bury your gift while chasing someone else's applause. Don't silence your voice because it doesn't sound like theirs. Don't shrink your calling to fit someone else's comfort. You were fearfully made, strategically positioned, deliberately chosen. The creator of the universe deposited something in you that this generation needs, and he is waiting on you. Not to perform, not to pretend, but to produce. Let others perform. Let others impress. As for you, fulfill purpose.